In this example, we will search the database for all candidates or patients that are between the ages of 40 and 65 and have valid pure tone averages calculated in either the right ear or left ear. We will then make the resulting patient set a control group and perform a quick report to extract data related to the patients in that set. The database currently holds 27 patients. Most likely your database will have thousands or tens of thousands of patients. For demonstration purposes, the size of this database is limited to 27 patients. To begin, select File, then select Preferences. Scroll down and select Search, Sequential Search Checklist. Select the plus sign next to Saved Searches to expand the list. Each search must be built within the table where the search fields to be employed reside. For example, the age search will use the birth date field, which is located within the subject table. The age search will be built within the subject table. These are all of the data tables that comprise the AudBase database. To create a new saved search, select a data table. If you are modifying a previously saved query, you will see the search name in the top left of the window. Since we're creating a new saved search, it will be blank for the time being. There are a series of buttons running along the bottom of the window. At the bottom left, logic functions are displayed, and on the bottom right, line controls. When building a query or search, the query editor will default to the first line of the search. Any additional lines must be created by selecting the Add Line button. It's important to note that unless otherwise modified by using the logic function buttons on the bottom left of the window, each new line will default to the AND function. The first part of our search criteria is the subject's age. We wish to find all subjects between the ages of 40 and 65. To accomplish this, we will use the birth date field. Select birth date on the left, select the comparison of greater than or equal to, and we enter our first date of January 1st, 1952. Now select Add Line to create our second line, select birth date again, and this time select the comparison of less than or equal to before entering our second date of January 1st, 1977. Our two lines of search criteria are now displayed near the top of the window. Select Save to save this search, and enter a name for this query. Select OK, and then select Finished. You will find the query you've just created has been added to the saved search list under the appropriate data table. Now we need to add our second criteria to find all subjects with valid pure tone averages calculated in either the right or left ear. Select the Audiogram table and select New Saved Search as before. Once again, select the appropriate field. In this case, we select pure tone average in dB for the right ear, and our comparison value is greater than or equal to -10. Add a line. Repeat the process for the left ear. Select Save as before, and name your query. Select OK when you are finished, and you'll find yourself back at the saved searches with our new saved search under the audiogram table. Double-click on any previously saved search to modify it. Since our original goal in this example was to find subjects of a desired age group with valid pure tone averages in either the right or left ear rather than in both, we would need to modify the query we just made, since we left the default AND function in place. You may quickly change the function of any line by selecting it and then making the adjustment via the appropriate logic function button. You may adjust comparisons in a similar fashion. After you've made the desired changes, select Save and ensure your query is named appropriately. Select OK and Finished. Since the name of the modified query was different, it did not overwrite the original. Select Close to return to the subject list. It is now time to run our search. Start by selecting Subjects from the menu bar and then select Search to enter the search window. Or alternatively, use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+S. Here we can again see the data tables that comprise the AudBase database. In the subject table, the bracketed number 27 indicates how many patients or subjects are in the database. Double-clicking the line Subject Current 27 will open the query editor we were using just a few minutes ago. While appearing very similar to the way it appeared when accessed via File and Preferences, this version of the query window has some different functionality. You may still make changes to existing queries or generate entirely new queries from this window. However, it is best to construct most of your queries via the methods we outlined earlier. Selecting the Load button will reveal the list of saved searches for the respective table. In this case, we see the age 40 to 65 search we previously built in this video. Note that our age query was built in the subject table. If we were working in the audiogram table, we would see the pure tone average searches we built within that table. Select the query. This query can now be executed, or we can make edits if needed. If you make any modifications to the query, or build any new queries, you must save them as before, with a unique name, if you wish them to be stored in the query library for later use. If you wish to add more than 2 lines to a query, it can be helpful to add brackets to separate your various criteria and ensure that they are expressed correctly. To add a bracket, select the Click for Bracket area to the left of the first line you wish to include within a bracket. Then select the Click for Bracket area to the right of the last line you wish to bracket. Then select Add Line and select the field for the next line of the query. Select the appropriate comparisons and enter any required information. In this case, the brackets cause our search to first focus on the 2 birth date ranges we've outlined, and then move on to checking for subject gender. Brackets are not necessary for many simple searches or searches with only 2 lines. This example now targets subjects of an age range and specific gender. Our original example didn't require us to target a gender, so we will delete line 3 momentarily, but it is an example of how to build on a previously saved search. To remove line 3, we will select it and select the Delete Line button. To run the query, select the Query button. Now that we know that 11 subjects meet the age criteria, we must now drag this line, Subject 00211, down to the audiogram window so we can conduct the pure tone average search. Simply click on the line and drag and drop into the audiogram section as shown. The line is now updated to now show that our 11 subjects which meet our age criteria are holding 10 audiograms between them. Now we need to apply our query for the audiogram table to find out how many of these 10 audiograms from our 11 subjects have valid pure tone averages. Double-click the line, which will again open the query editor, only this time it is within the audiogram table. Selecting the Load button will reveal the list of saved searches for this table. We can now select the PTA obtainable search we built within this table earlier. Select the Query button to run the search criteria. The line is updated again to show that 9 audiograms exist with valid pure tone averages for the 11 subjects in our age group. Select the line and drag it back to the subject box, which reveals that there are 9 subjects holding those audiograms with valid pure tone averages and who are also within our birth date criteria. To see the set of subjects, drag the newly created set labeled Subject 003 to the orange box at the bottom of the window labeled Drop Selected Subject Set. The subject list will be displayed, now showing only those subjects which fit our search criteria. We will now create a quick report that will produce a listing of all patients that have an audiogram containing valid pure tone averages for the right or left ear. The listing will also contain the pure tone averages for each audiogram that meets the PTA search criteria. Select Reports, and then select Report Data. This is the Search for Report window, which follows the same format as the search window we used earlier to locate our subjects. Our previously created set of 9 patients who have audiograms with pure tone averages in either the left or the right ear is visible in the subject window. These patients may also have some audiogram records which do not have valid pure tone averages. In order to create a report that only contains the audiograms which meet our criteria, we must relate these 9 subjects to the audiogram table search criteria we created earlier. As before, we select our subject set and drag it to the audiogram window, which once again shows us that the 9 subjects have 10 audiograms between them. Double-click the line once again to open the query editor and run our PTA obtainable search criteria. Select the query button and we see that there are 9 records which match our criteria. Just as before, we will drag them to the orange box, this time labeled Drop Report Set instead of Drop Subject Set, as we are generating a report instead of a subject list. This is the Quick Report window. Here, we can build and format the report however we wish from within the AudBase application itself. For example, we may want a column that contains the subject's last name, one that contains their first name, and their clinical group identifier, or MRN. We can adjust the order of columns. We can rename a column so that it's easier to understand in the report, or change text alignment, for example. In this case, we might also want the audiogram date, and of course, pure tone averages for either the right or left ear, perhaps renaming and adjusting those columns to make them easier to read. Let's take just another moment to continue to clean up the report so it is easily decipherable. It can be helpful to replace the AudBase field identifier headings with acronyms and commonly used terms. We might add the count function to the first column to tell us how many records we have on this report. To see what the report will look like, we can perform a print preview. Select File, and then select Print Preview. A populated version of our report is displayed for us. If we don't like the way our report looks, we can make adjustments to font size, or even change the theme by selecting Style and Presentation. Once you've selected a theme, select Apply, and you can check once again to see how your report will look through Print Preview. If you are happy with your report, you may save it by selecting File, Save As, and selecting a location to save the report. If you have any questions about reports or are having difficulty creating reports of your own, don't hesitate to contact us at support@audbase.com or give us a call at 1-888-959-6790.